everybody, and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Superman issue 35, written by Joshua Williamson, with art by Eddie Barrows, Iba Ferreira, Julio Ferreira, colors by Alejandro Sanchez, and letters by Ariana Mayher. Doomsday learns his true destiny this issue as the being remembers his talk with Superman, knowing the Man of Steel shouldn't have ever trusted him, since all their history together is a cycle of death and rebirth, nothing more, and while he tried to warn Superman the end was coming, Clark never listened to him since he only saw him as Doomsday, killer of Superman. What Williamson has been doing for Doomsday over this story arc, ever since introducing him as Time Trapper, has been nothing short of incredible. It's not only completely recontextualized Doomsday's entire being and his existence, but also given him some very much needed character growth. They're not using him as a marketing tool anymore, he's not the thing that killed Superman anymore. He's so much more. He's an actual character with emotions and feelings and motivations. It's some really fantastic stuff. Doomsday has never been this well written. Time Trapper knows that he needs Superman now more than ever, and unfortunately he doesn't get the Superman he wants, as nearby Superboy Prime and the Superman robot battle the Absolute Legion, with the robot intent on completing its mission, but stopping to help Prime in his battle. As Prime battles Lightning Lad, the Superman robot fares somewhat worse against Cosmic Boy as the being uses his magnetic powers to rip the robot's arm off, wondering what secrets will spill out of him. Lois meanwhile gets an old join the dark side speech from Saturn Girl, who offers her a place at Darkseid's side so she may keep her powers. Lois knows better though, since Superman always spoke highly of the Legion of Superheroes, but these warped villains are not those people. I really like that Lois is kind of acting like her husband. She's actively wanting to try and help the Legion and make them see the error in their ways, and maybe, just maybe, they could actually be like the actual Legion of Superheroes. Saturn Girl isn't interested in that though, so Lois can't wait for Clark to get back to kick their asses. Lois's role in the book has been really great, and having her character get the powers back lets her partake in the action, get even more involved in the story than she already was, which I really like. It's not sidelining her because they don't have that fear of like, oh, she can't partake in this because she doesn't have powers, or like, how is she going to survive, and that sort of stuff. Makes me wonder why they even got rid of the powers in the first place, especially because they got rid of them and then it was literally a handful of issues before she got them back. So like, why bother getting rid of them in the first place? Just let her have them. Either way, all of this is great Lois stuff, and her just trying to be like Superman and try and help the Legion is just so good. Saturn Girl knows that thanks to her connection to Darkseid, Superman will not be coming back, as she knows he has been defeated by Lex Luthor, who has gone on to become the King Omega. Imra gives Lois the quick rundown of DCKO issue 4 and what happened to Superman, but Lois knows that she's lying. Imra hopes that she would see the truth, that Darkseid always wins and hope is lost, all because Superman made the mistake of believing. Lois lets Saturn Girl get into her head with the comments and attacks in a violent rage, which is to Saturn Girl's advantage, as she easily beats Lois, actually having to use physical contact for a change, which surprises Imra since it's been a long time since she's actually touched someone. Lois getting so much time with Saturn Girl is great, since I'm fairly certain that they have never actually met, at least not in this timeline, so her first exposure being the Legion are violent doppelgangers has got to really mess with your brain after your husband kind of bigged them up as this like great team of heroes from the future. Saturn Girl loves that Lois refuses to give up, since she knows that thanks to being in Lois's mind, she knows that she is just being selfish and all she wants to do is hold her husband's hand, fly with him again. Lois doesn't take the bait though, telling her to go deeper into her brain and tell her what she sees. Imra is more than happy to do that, entering Lois's mind to see all of the woman's memories of her and Clark, from the moment they met right up to when Lois got powers. Lois appears, knowing Darkseid might destroy everything, but he cannot take the memories from her and have what she and Clark have. Interestingly, Saturn Girl's memories bleed into Lois's, and we get to see that she shares a similar bond with Lightning Lad, which we saw hinted at in the last issue. Saturn Girl is overcome with feelings, not understanding what's going on and what this feeling she has is. I love we're going this route with the love wins the day scenario. I know a lot of people are probably going to hate that, but I just love when this sort of story happens, and it's just always fun to see it. And Lois is like like the perfect person to do this story with as well, since she is doing everything right now out of love for Clark, love for their world, love for their family, and it being so strong that even Saturn Girl gets affected by it, and the control of Darkseid breaks is great. Maybe that's a hint at maybe what's going to defeat Darkseid at the end of this event. Thanks to these memories flooding Imra's mind, she can no longer hear Darkseid, which freaks her out and gives Lois a chance to tell her that she can help defeat Darkseid, and they may be even able to free the rest of the Legion. Elsewhere, Prime takes on Cosmic Boy and Lightning Lad all at once, defeating them both and getting ready to break Lightning Lad's neck. The freed Saturn Girl pleads with him to stop since she loves Garth and wants to just leave. Prime has a change of heart, kicking Lightning Lad down as Saturn Girl grabs him, opening up a time bubble to escape through, as the rest of the Legion demand to know why she is planning on leaving, since they need to stop Time Trapper and any other threats to Darkseid before they return, otherwise Darkseid will find them and kill them. Saturn Girl, however, has hope that they will best the last god as the team teleport away. So I kind of figured that there would be at least a little bit more resistance to Saturn Girl turning good, for at least maybe like a couple of issues, maybe 1 or 2 issues. You know, we get the seed planted here and then she just jumps away, we don't get any real answer, and then when we see her come back we realize that, oh, she has turned good, or Lois's message got through to her. I didn't expect we'd see it happen all in the span of 2 pages. It feels a little bit rushed. There is a lot, you know, of this story that is a lot of different stories being balanced together, you know, combining, so there's a lot of spinning plates right now, but that was maybe something that maybe needed just a little bit more time in the oven. I guess also this means maybe this is the Legion that's going to come back, because there is a Legion of Superheroes book that has been announced to be coming out at some point this year, maybe the end of this year. So does this Legion go on to become that Legion, or do they change the future and the past so that the Legion actually exist again? I have no idea, but I'm glad that like this is probably the seed to that. You know, the seed that Lois has managed to turn the Legion into good guys again. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I kind of like the symbolism there. You know, Clark, Superman, was the one who inspired them to become the Legion of Superheroes, and Lois, Superwoman, is the one who inspired them to turn away from evil and become the Legion once more. That's actually kind of cool. With the threats now gone, the heroes meet with Time Trapper, who thinks that they have lost and need to run into the distant past to survive. Prime, however, delivers the half-destroyed Superman robot to Time Trapper, and Lois tells Trapper it knows things about his own history that even he doesn't know. The robot boots up the message from Lara Lorvan, who tells Doomsday that he was created on Krypton and made specifically to defeat Darkseid, with Darkseid being the Omega and Doomsday being the Alpha, the end and the beginning. And he is more than death, and his powers allow him a second chance, something she wishes more people got. So if it isn't obvious by the story and like the art makes it very obvious. This is also a message meant for Superboy Prime 2, a character who is also going through sort of an identity crisis and doesn't know his place in the world and what spot he is meant to fill. And of course he's getting a second chance in the reign of the Superboys event after this book. So I like that him seeing this message is kind of also him getting that second chance as well. And I like Lara also being the one to deliver it, and it's kind of him kind of getting the mother that he would have had in a different world. You know, technically Lara is his mother, but also it's not, because Superboy Prime is from the real world. He's just named Clark Kent. You know, it's very, very weird, but I really like that he got that message from Lara, and that was like one of the final things to like push him towards being more of a hero and give him that full redemption and hero status. Lara knows that Krypton never got a second chance, but she hopes that Time Trapper will help her son give his adopted world one. The message ends and the robot begins to power down, and Prime catches him, asking why it helped out in the fight when it could just fly off and be safe, but the robot says that it is what Superman would have done. The robot dies in Prime's arms, unable to finish its final message to Prime. This is a real sad moment, since we've gotten to know this robot over the last couple of issues. We learn like its origins and how it truly believed it was Superman and led by his ideals, and it's also the final thing that I think Prime needed to put him on that right path, a Superman literally dying in his arms, reminding him of how much of a hero a Superman can be and how much of a hero he can be as well. As Prime and Lois mourn the robot, Time Trapper powers up, knowing that if Superman is truly dead, then it's time he faced Darkseid with what little power he has left. The being teleports away to the Omega tournament as later on in the super ship above the moon, Lois has donned her Superwoman suit again, told by Mercy that Earth has been forever changed and they might need to find another home. Lois knows that the Titans and Mr. Terrific both succeeded in their mission, hoping that it's enough to help them. Unfortunately, Lois's powers are beginning to leave her again, and Mercy knows of the blast that Lois was hit with from Sunboy that gave her her powers back. However, she cannot risk hitting her with the same energy again, at least not without any scans or tests ran on her first, something which they cannot do on the super ship. So why are we taking Lois's powers yet again? Just leave her with them until it comes time to do the General Zod storyline, since remember, these powers were strongly hinted at to come from General Zod because they spun out of that Absolute Power book that, you know, the robot took powers from people, and yeah, it was pretty convoluted, but it was strongly hinted that the powers belonged to Zod. And so I don't know when we're going to be getting to that story. Hopefully sometime soon. Hopefully they've remembered that that story actually exists and they were building towards that before all this. But yeah, leave Lois with her powers. I just dislike this back and forth with Lois's powers. Does she have them? Does she not have them? Just pick a lane and stick with it. Lois doesn't want to worry about her powers. Instead, she is looking for someone in the crowd, but Mercy knows with millions of people on the ship, that's going to be quite hard. Lois doesn't believe so, since in times of trouble, you just look for the helpers. Soon she finds the people she is looking for, Jonathan and Martha Kent, who are busy helping some kids and their parents deal with the crisis of Earth turning into new apocalypse. Pa Kent assures the kids that they're going to be home soon, since there are some very good people out there doing their best to make things right. Every character in this book has been used in just the perfect way. Like, of course the Kents are here helping out people, assuring them it's going to be okay, getting them through crisis. It's totally a Superman thing, you know. You can see where Clark got all of his abilities from, his kindness, his compassion, all of that. You can see right here where he gets it from. Lois hugs the Kents, telling them that she isn't sure what happened to Superman, but Jonathan knows that something feels different this time, like a part of his heart has gone missing and he fears his son may be dead. Lois refuses to give up hope, knowing that Clark will come flying back to them, but in the meantime, there is someone the Kents need to help. Lois introduces the Kents to Superboy Prime, who hopes the Kents will call him Clark. So this kind of sealed the deal for me when it came to hype for the Superboy Prime storyline coming up. Like, hell yeah, he gets to hang out with the Kents. He's probably going to learn the ropes from them and about how to be a good person. I'm intrigued to see what the dynamic will be, because Prime, while he has learnt some things, he still very much acts like a petulant child. So I'm intrigued to see how he's going to react to having two people telling him what to do and two people who do not have powers telling him what to do. I imagine he's going to fanboy out a little bit, because obviously he knows who the Kents are and probably have some fourth wall breaky sort of stuff about them. But I'm intrigued to see what Williamson is going to do with them. That's really exciting. I like the idea that he gets to be with the Kents and gets to learn from the Kents. That's a great idea. Superman issue 35 rounded out Lois, Superboy Prime and Time Trapper's little side quest adventure in the best way possible. Every character in the book had their purpose and was extremely well written, and I love Lois got to interact with the Legion of Superheroes and become the catalyst for their turn against Darkseid. It's the perfect role for her as a hero. The issue is not without its shortcomings though, as I did think that them flip-flopping about with Lois's superpowers, one minute she has them, next minute she doesn't, is getting a bit ridiculous. Just pick a lane and choose. I'd prefer to have her with the superpowers until you got to the Zod storyline, but that's just me. On top of that, some of the story arcs did feel a little rushed, mainly Saturn Girl's turn back to being a hero. That felt like it kind of happened a bit too quickly, and this is them kind of rushing things through as DCKO is coming towards the end and they need to get ready for Reign of the Superboys, which I'm very excited for. I'm really excited to see where Williamson takes Superboy Prime in the Reign of the Superboys story. I'm going to give this issue a 7 out of 10.